Alright guys, welcome to today's market review session. Just give me a minute, please. Let me make sure everything is set. Today I'll try my best to go over everything as quickly and simply as possible. Alright, so I'm just going to kick off right now. Alright, so what we usually like doing is looking first off at the currency indices to have a general idea of how strong, alright, or how weak exactly we're expecting different currencies to be during the course of the week. And then using that, we can have that down as just an extra confirmation for whatever direction we're expecting, some currency pairs to move, alright, along. Alright, so for DXY, this being said, let me just quickly refer to this. All right, if you're able to join us for our live stream on Friday for the news release, you'll have seen that a lot of people were able to capitalize off of that. All right, during that time. So please do not miss any of our live streams. All right, so let's quickly go into what we have. So this DXY, the US dollar currency index, and for what I can see here, currently we're seeing that DXY has broken below it, or above rather, a previous support here around 102.160. All right, this value might differ based on your broker or based on the broker that you're using basically, but we've seen that price has broken above, all right, that previous support. All right, and we can see that along that support we also have a pivot region. I'm talking about this region here. All right, we've got to see that price acted somewhat as supply and demand, so to speak. All right, so we've had that pivot region already being created at that point. So I think what we can then watch out for DXY, seeing that we have a very huge imbalanced candle left behind, will be for price to at least come to fill it up a little bit, all right, before continuing in its upwards direction. All right, so at least I'm watching out for price to drop into this zone again, or my current supply zone is between 102.222 and 102.106. So I'm watching out for that drop into that region, and then we get to see the continuation rather for the push towards the upside. Again, you can see that the previous high that was created is somehow touching that line. So I'm watching out for that pivot region exactly around here to work out very well for us during the course of the week. All right, I also know that some brokers allow you to trade, DXY. All right, so if your broker allows you to trade DXY as a commodity, then please do feel free to work based off of that during the course of the week. All right, next up we have DXY, the Great British Pound Currency Index. And I think for this, simply what I just did here was to plot out my Fibonacci, all right, and I had to just use the key points that I have noted, all right, I use usually, all right, to get this zone. All right, so this is majorly Fibonacci zone you're looking at right now. And you can see along that region, all right, we've seen that price is actually giving us a simple retracement, all right, knowing fully well that in every trend we're expecting an impulse and then a retracement, right, an impulse and a retracement. So we've seen impulse, let me just mark that out quickly. We've seen impulse, retracement, impulse. This has been the retracement, right? So I'm just watching out for that retracement to end, and then we get our push towards the upside. So I think for this week, we can expect that the Great British Pound should gain some level of strength in the markets during the course of the week. That is clear. Like I said, I'm trying my best to just, go through the indices as quickly as possible, and then we can look more at currency pairs and other commodities that might be of more interest to us. All right, so next up is the AXY, the Australian Dollar Currency Index, and something similar to that is what I'm expecting on the larger scale. However, I want to be very, very cautious here because this is an index, all right. It doesn't necessarily look, like the normal, chart you might be used to. You can see there are a lot of gaps left behind, and sometimes those gaps don't act as they usually would act, in the case of a currency pair. All right, but that being said, I think one thing that I have marked out here is just this zone, all right, this is between 66.98 and 66.60 on the chart for AXY. So basically, I'm watching out for the AXY to still drop, all right, and then, we get some level of bullish movement from there. All right, so I'm watching out for a sell to buy movement on AXY. However, I want to be very, very cautious, all right. This last candle that was created here basically looks to me like a doji, all right, or rather this middle candle here, this bullish candle towards this middle candle here basically looks to me like a doji candle. So that tells me that to some extent there's a little bit of an indecision currently going on when it comes to this currency pair, or sorry, this currency rather. So what I'm just watching out for is either for price to drop down, or for also have a little bit of a push towards the upside before that drop continues. All right, and that little bit of a push, let me just quickly delete this, excuse me. So that little bit of a push should just be for price to come towards maybe somewhere like here where we had a previous resistance. All right, and then that can just turn into a support. All right, and then we can just see price drop before we get our overall buy. So this is what I'm watching out for on AXY, during the course of this week and possibly even the coming weeks. But let's just see how this plays out. So sell to buy is what I'm watching out for on AXY. All right, next up, let's look at CXY, the Canadian dollar currency index. Give me a minute. Very good. So you can see that from the 4-hour time frame right now, you can see that the Canadian dollar is giving us somewhat of what some people might refer to as a double top pattern. All right, really showing us that definitely we should be watching out for a reaction towards the downside or a sell movement. All right, right. So we've seen that price actually give us, say relatively equal highs around here. All right, do not the best, but still relatively equal highs. All right, and then we forgot to see that drop or continuing towards the downside. So what I'm watching out for right now is, since I've seen that price has broken out of this range. Now this was a range. All right, between this whole region was actually a range. All right, we've actually seen that that range. Now we see that price has broken below the upper region of that range. All right, came back to retest that point, and now we're still seeing that drop. So I'm watching out for that drop to still last. All right, for price to break around here, this is around 73.42 on that chart, and then drop into this region that we have here, which is actually a pivot region that we've marked out previously in our last. I think our last or the one before that, market review. All right, so this is between 72.96 and 72.67. So that's what I'm watching out for currently on CXY. So I'm still watching out for CXY, to be bearish, all right, during the coming days. All right, so I hope that is clear. Also, last but not the least, on the list of currency indexes that we look at, or currency indices that we look at, is Gbpusd basket. All right, which controls or which tells you the strength, relative strength anyway, of Japanese yen. And I think for us on the Gbpusd basket rather, we can still watch out for that drop again. All right, we've seen that price is nearing again our pivot region around here, between 62.10 and 60.64. All right, so I'm watching out for that drop to still happen. I have seen that. Okay, let me just show us this quickly. This was a previous support here, got broken, came back resistance. So we saw that that region holding up about 3 or 4 times before price finally came back, broke it again, and the price has given us a similitude of a break below that. But I want to be very, very careful, right? We've seen that the last candle that actually closed, all right, is that it's closing bullish, all right, and before that we saw that the candle that closed with its full body below that point. So I thought to watch out and be very, very careful about this. But overall, I'm watching out for this total break, all right, to continue into that zone, and then we get some level of strength during the course of the week. So I'm watching out for overall maybe by Monday end, all right, or by let's just say by Monday or Tuesday, or we should see some level of strength on Gbpusd basket. All right, so that's just it for the currency indices. Quickly, let's look at some currency pairs together. All right, so let's look at everybody's favorite first up. Gold. Now, usually on this calls, we usually just stay on the 4-hour or the daily 4-hour, maybe the 2-hour time frame sometimes. But for gold, I'm going to do my best to go down to maybe the 30 minutes maximum. All right. The reason being that we're trying to just have a general idea of what exactly we expect, a certain commodity to do during the course of the week. All right. So let me just let's do this together. I want us to do this together. So top-down analysis. All right. We're going from the daily time frame. We're seeing that currently price is still massively bullish. Massively from the daily time frame, price is still massively bullish, right? So if you come down to the 4-hour time frame, let me delete this quickly. You see that currently price is actually giving us something that looks towards the end of price consolidating. What do I mean by that? This whole range, all right? So we're not seeing clear equal highs from the 4-hour time frame, at least. We're not seeing clear equal highs or clear equal lows. Now let's go down to the 2-hour time frame. All right, so I'm doing my best to break this down as best as I can. All right, so if you come down to the 2-hour time frame, you see that price actually gave us and this was as a result of the NFP release anyway. We actually got to see some rejections from this range, all right, or from this whole region here, which was the last major candle that we saw that swept liquidity, all right, from previous candles. All right, so this is actually what gave us that rejection towards the upside. So this is why I want to be very, very cautious. When usually you see news releases that give you candles or that print candles that have long wicks towards the upside and towards the downside, it shows you that basically anything can happen, right? So let's go down to the 1-hour time frame. What we're just going to be working with basically are going to be pivot regions that we can hold on to, all right, that we will now be able to use to get more confirmed points of entries or points where we expect at least price to get to before we get the reversal from. And currently, we're still going with our daily time frame bias of gold rather being bullish. All right, I think we might be watching out for price or gold rather to break above this region this week. Should I move that a little bit? Let me just leave it there. So this is around 2671.79. So watching based off of that, we might still be watching out for gold to break above that point during the course of this week, and maybe all right, maybe we might see get a price coming towards that previous all-time high region again. However, I want to now watch out for what we are currently seeing on the lower time frame. So I want to watch out for the lower time frame structure. All right. So let's by the side, you can just leave what we just saw from the daily time frame for us for our aspect, and let's just watch out for what we are seeing currently on this on the 1 hour time frame. Now, if you take this as your previous low, all right, you would have this high, low, right, high, low, a lower high, however, all right, before we actually got to see this range that we're currently seeing right now. Now, this shows us basically that there's every possibility also, like I said earlier anyway, for anything to happen, right? So this actually shows that there's every possibility for us to actually get to see price break, if at all we get to see a good enough rejection, all right, for price to actually break out or below this region, all right, and then continue. Reason being that we've seen this, all right, as our previous high, and then this as our previous low, and then we see that the next high that was created that we can actually hold on to was actually lower than the previous high, showing us a potential for a change of character. However, for me, all right, I'll be very, very cautious, right? Because for me, this will have been, a proper low to take out for me to now confirm that change of character. Do you understand that right now? So what I'm just watching out for basically at the moment is for price to still continue bullish overall. Sorry, okay. So what I'm just watching out for is for price to still continue bullish overall, and then we'll get to see how that moves. So I'm not going to be necessarily giving us exact zones, all right, for us to take up trades on gold, at least from the higher time frame perspective. And I don't want to really go down to the lower time frames, all right, on this. But currently, what we can see on gold is this current consolidation. All right, so before every trade that are going to be taking, please be cautious. For me, I'll be looking for more reasons to enter for buys. I feel like we should have more reasons to enter for buys when it comes to it. So I'm careful in that region. All right, so that's just what I'm going to be advising us on gold. All right, so that being said, let me just go into the ones that at least I'm seeing that are a bit more, a bit more. What is the word I can use? They're looking a bit more. Somebody's telling me something here. All right, so they're looking a bit more. I sincerely don't even know the word to use, but they're just looking like they have more hope rather than gold for me. All right, so that being said, so let's quickly look at USD card, right? So for USD card, I'm watching out for USD card to be bearish, all right, but I want to be extremely cautious here. This region that we have marked out here is actually pivot region. All right, I won't necessarily be going into why I'm calling it the pivot region yet. All right, that's not what these calls are for. But all the same, I want us to be very cautious with this. All right, so even though overall I'm expecting price to still drop. All right, so again, you can see from just the 1 hour time frame structure, right, you can see should we use this? Yes, let's use this. So this. All right, so impulse retracement impulse, right? So if we're watching out for anything, we might be watching out for a new retracement, before price continues for the overall impulse, right? So, and we've seen that price has broken above this previous high here, if we want to call this, all right, minor structure anyway, above this high here, and price actually got somewhat a rejection around here, So we've not actually seen a clear breakout of this high, all right? You've seen that every candle that has been created when price got there was very, very, they had longer wicks, all right, towards the upside, showing that there's actually somewhat of a rejection towards the downside, right? So let's just watch out for this during the course of this week. I believe that this might be a bit slow, right, on Monday, Tuesday, but I still want to watch out for that possibility for us to get more sales off of USD card during the course of this week, all right? And I am watching out to neglect, all right, this pivot region. I'm really hoping for a neglect of this pivot region anyway. So for me, this is what I'm going to advise us to do, all right? For you to enter, you're looking out for, sell entries off of USD card. One thing that you can do might just be to wake out of where and wait for rather a break and retest on a lower time frame. What do I mean by that? As you said, you don't want to go too low. But let me just quickly show us this. So let me delete this quickly. This would be a very, very good point for you to watch out for. All right. So simply what I'm watching out for, what I would watch out for rather, would be for price to break below this low around 1.35651, right? To break below this low, come back to retest it. Then I'll possibly enter for a sell from around that. When I see that break and retest, I'll use this previous high as my stop loss, and then I'll be able to take up that trade for USD card or for a sell. So if that is clear on USD card, let me return the pivot region because I still want to watch out for that possibility also. So if that is clear for USD card, quickly let's see. I think we have GBP USD, right? So yeah, so for GBP USD, this is what I'm watching out for now. I am hearing a very Timmy Turner. Okay, thank you. I wanted to come and meet you. Please just help us mute your mic, please. All right, so let me just quickly do that from here. Okay, I think he has done it. So thank you very much. So sorry about that. I believe we can still see my screen. Right, I believe you can still see my screen. So let's quickly go on. For GBP I think we can watch out for GBP to actually give us a buy signal or a buy trade rather during the course of the week. I want to be very cautious again. I'm a very, very conservative trader. Right. So I want to be very cautious with this. Let me mark out this point quickly. Please unmute your mute your mics rather. All right, so yeah, so let me quickly show us what I'm watching out for right now on GBP All right, so something similar to what some people might call a QML pattern, or an inverted head and shoulder, depending on however you decide to look at it, right? I'm going to see that this could be the shoulder, right? This could be the head, and then price has given us that push towards the upside and is looking towards coming back towards that same region where the right, left shoulder was, right? So, or in this case, the right shoulder, since this is inverted, or anyhow you want to look at it. So I'm just watching out for a buy, all right, when market opens on GBP all right. So might just mark out this, all right. If you were around for Thursday's live stream, I gave this trade, all right, a buy trade from here, all right. And my overall tip where I'm watching out for this buy to still last too, all right, it's still quite far, as you can see here, it's around here. This is around 1.32351. All right, I'm watching out for that buy to actually still go quite far on GBP. All right, so for me, I'm just going to be watching out for this. All right, so I think during the course of the week, we might see some good buys off of GBP. So that's currently my bias for GBP for the week. Quickly, without taking too much time, let's go to GBP JPY. GBP missed my entry for the buy. I was watching out for a buy, but I think my entry was a bit lower than where we got to see this third touch here, or this fourth touch rather, of the trend line. So I think we can still watch out for a sell also on GBP during the course of this week. Preferably, let's just use our Fibonacci to have a fair enough idea of where we might be watching out for that to end. We're going to see I think this is a rally based drop. Yes, a rally based drop being formed around the rally, base here drop. All right, so we can still watch out for price to give us that proper drop, maybe into this region, but at least price should come to fill up the imbalance. So you can still watch out for pricing, give us that drop maybe into this region here. All right, and then we get to see our buys from there. So basically, a GPG, I'm watching out for a sell to buy. All right, for now, my preferred buy region or my preferred buy entry. Ooh, let me quickly mark this out quickly. Give me a minute. So my preferred buy entry will be anywhere from around 192.896. All right, to somewhere around 192.172. All right, so that'll be my preferred buy. So when I get the price getting into that zone, all right, from around here, all right, so I guess I can increase this so that you won't be too confused. All right, from around here to here, I might just be watching out for that buy to take place on GBP. So I hope that is clear. Alternatively, if this zone is looking too large for you, you might want to watch out for price to just come into the 50% region of this zone, and then you climb in for your buy on GBP. So I hope that is clear, for GBP for this coming week. Quickly, let's look at USD CHF also. So I'm just sharing with you basically what I have or what I'm watching out for, to happen during the course of the week. Or so if we are not for last week's market every session again, we gave this buy, or we're expecting this buy off of USD CHF. We got to see it happen exactly as we were watching out for, during the course of the week. And now we've gotten to see that price has broken above this consolidation on at least the 4-hour time frame. Then what can we expect? I'm going to give us two scenarios. I'm going to be drawing up the schematics for those two scenarios, and I want us to pay close attention to this, right? So scenario number one is the classic AMD pattern. Let me redraw it. So right. So this is scenario number one. And this is scenario number two. So let me just bring this down so that you can see it a bit better. Yes, this is scenario number two. So let me explain what exactly you're looking at on the screen right now. So scenario number one, all right, is the AMD pattern, or one of the base forms of looking at the AMD pattern art. All right, you have accumulation, all right, a place where you get to see a range, for example. So something like this, consolidation. Then manipulation, price winds you, all right, tells you that, oh, I'm ready to break above here, right? And it gives you a fake breakout or a fake out, all right, above that range. And then you get to see the distribution. So after it has gathered liquidity from people that have entered for buy orders. Oh, price is buying now, let's enter for buys, and they put their stop loss just a little bit below. Price then distributes their liquidity all right to everybody else, and then goes for a sell. That's scenario number one, right? So this is scenario number two. Scenario number two is where you get to see that there's a range, all right, initial range. Price breaks above that range, then comes back to retest the previous high, or the highest point at least of that range, all right, and then continues for the buy. All right, so with what I've said right now, I believe you might be able to work based off of this. So let me put this back to what it was. Yes, so this is what I'm just watching out for, and I want us to be very, very cautious of. You can see that the candle that actually broke above this range was a very strong impulsive candle, right, which came out as a result of the NFP news release, right? So what I want to watch out for is possibly, very, very nice. I just saw this now. Give me 1 minute to mark it out. So I think we can use this over here. I don't need to use this orange, but still. So this is just it. So I'm watching out for price to still drop a little bit lower into this region, right? And then we get to see a buy. Now, before I'll be taking this buy, I want to see maybe a lower time frame change of character. All right, if I can get to see a lower time frame change of character, maybe on the 15 minutes or on the 5 minutes time frame, then I might be watching out for that buy from that region. All right, so currently my supply zone for that, my demand zone for that is between 0.85 495 and 0.85312. All right, so I want to watch out for that to happen. Now, alternatively, like I said, because remember what I was showing you for scenario one. Alternatively, if I get to that, by the time price comes back in here, I don't get to see that lower time frame change of character. I'll be watching out for this to actually play out as the first scenario I gave you for a typical AMD pattern being formed. So this could just be the fake, all right, or the fake out order, and the price will just give us that massive drop and then even break below this previous lows around here. So for me, for any of them, I'm going to be watching out for, like I said, for the buy. If I'm watching out for the buy, I'm watching out for a lower time frame change of character. If I'm watching out for the sell, I'm watching out for more or less a break and retest. What do I mean by that? So for the sales, I'm watching out for this, basically break and retest of that region, right? So I want us to be very, very cautious with that. That's what I'm saying. It's like this. I want us to be very, 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 very cautious with this. All right. So I think for me anyway, I am more hopeful for scenario one playing out, which is the buy from here. So that's what I'm watching out for. But if again, minus the fact that you have done your analysis, you have your entry criteria. So minus the fact that you have your point of interest, you've marked out different zones. You still have your entry criteria that you are going to be working with. So if your entry criteria is not met, then your trade should not be taken. Is that clear? All right. So that's just what I'm watching out for. On USD CHF. All right. I think we've taken a fair bit of time. All right. So let's quickly go on for AUD USD. I'm going to give us two scenarios also on AUD USD. All right. And I want us to be very, very cautious again. Again, I'm a very conservative trader, but all the same, I want you to watch what I have to say here. Now, what I'm watching out, or what I'm currently seeing on AUD USD could very well be a job-based drop, or what looks like is being formed right now on AUD USD could very well be a job-based drop. This will be the drop, this is the base, and then we'll get to see another drop. Now, for me, all right, idealistically, right, I'm watching out for that for price to do this before we get our buy. All right, a proper drop before we get our buy. All right, now the reason why I'm going to be watching out for this is very, very simple. All right, if we get to see that drop being formed, then that will be an extra confirmation for me. Again, you can see that price is most likely going to come and take or clear out liquidity from this low, all right, before coming into this region. In case you're asking why exactly am I marking out this region, it's very, very simple. This is a Fibonacci region. All right, coming from the higher time frame, you can see that price is looking towards, or is tending to be bullish. All right, so let me just give us that quick mark out. It's looking like it wants to be bullish, right? So if I'm just going to be working based off of that, I'd love to work on my Fibonacci to get my Fibonacci retracement anyway, to get where exactly I'm expecting price to want to get where exactly I'm expecting the retracement to end before I can go on for the impulse, right? So since you're in a buy trend, you should be expecting more buys. Than a sell trend, you should be expecting more sells, right? So that's just what I'm watching out for currently off of AUD as a drop, and then get to see that buy. However, what you saw initially on my chart was this, all right, where I marked out this. Now, the reason why I put this here, all right, because usually you get to see that, especially when you get to see that there have been crazy moves as a result of NFP, or especially during the weekend, like Friday NFP news, right? During Monday, Tuesdays, all right, the next week, price tries to correct that move. Especially because you'll have seen that during that time, a massive imbalance candle will have been formed. What is an imbalance candle? In the market, if you have a scenario where there are more sellers, a larger amount, or an abnormally larger amount of sellers than buyers, and abnormally larger amount of buyers than sellers, all right, that is an imbalance. All right, so usually, quote unquote, in an ideal environment or in an ideal scenario, we expect that there should be some form of balance between buying and selling, all right, so that everything will be maintained, so to speak. But like chaos and order, there has to be that, balance, quote unquote, right? But when you get to see that, one person is having more strength, then you get to see an imbalance can be being formed. Where you get to see that the sellers were reigning so much in the market, they didn't even care about anybody. They just kept reigning. And that's what you just got to see here. So usually after those type of scenarios, price tries its best to correct that move by trying to fill up that imbalance, right? But I want us to be very, very cautious about that. All right? So I don't want to just jump into the conclusion that price is going to just give us that buy, when market opens. I want to watch out for this. But all the same, I'm not the market, all right, and I'm not the market maker, all right. But all the same, I can expect this to happen, all right, which is this immediate buy when gets the market open. And for me, what I'll just tell you is this. If at all this buy does happen, all right, I believe it will not last long. Yes, I believe it will not last long. It's not cost. It's just what I can see. All right, and reason being that we can see that currently this is going to be a very, very, very strong supply region. A very, very strong supply region. So if I then remove this from here, these two from here, right, this is going to be a very, very strong supply region. And then we get to see this happening. So either way, I should be able to get in on the sell, right? But what I'm just watching out for is two things now. Is that we get to see price come back into this region, all right, for the sell, right? Then we get to buy eventually, or we get to see this rally, this drop-based drop, forming perfectly, and then price just comes on its own accord towards our region, and then we climb in for our buy. So how that is clear. I hope I've not confused you too much. I hope I've not confused you at all, in fact, on what I'm expecting on AUD, USD. Quickly, let's go again into Euro USD. All right, so something sort of similar is what I'm expecting on Euro USD. However, there's a bit of a discrepancy that I'm currently seeing on Euro USD, and it's towards the end that we've seen, all right, during the course of last week. Price actually started that correction already. All right, what do I mean by that? You can see that price has already started trying to fill up that imbalance, all right, on Euro USD, at least on the 4-hour time frame, right? And quickly make this a bit clearer, right? So we've seen drop base. This could potentially be a rally, but it's all depending on what exactly the candle that is created during market open in the next about 2-3 hours or so says, right? So if that happens, then basically, like I said, for AUD USD, now let's get see price coming towards this previous support here, hitting it and then dropping a lot more. All right. Alternatively, if that doesn't happen, let me see. Sorry, let me go back to where I was, to the auto time, to the auto setting. Right. Alternative, that doesn't happen. I'm watching out for price to come somewhere towards this low here. Let me draw that as well as I can, or as best as I can. All right. It will actually break it. All right, because I'm watching out for this trend line to still hold. Let me see where exactly I have that trend line marked out from. Right, this from the daily time frame. You can see that we have had about 3 touches that shows me that this trend line is actually a serious pressing, and it has some very, very good uses. So if at all I get to see that this one gets being broken, then definitely I'm watching out for this trend line to act as my point for a rejection towards the upside. So what I would just advise you to do on your own chart, or even after this market review session on your own chart, just draw up your own, just do your own personal analysis. You can use this as a guide, all right, and then you can mark out all those regions to work out with, all right, and based off of your entry criteria, you can take any of these trades. But I'm watching out for basically buy, during market open on Euro USD, buy, then later we'll get to see a sell from around this point. This will be around 1.10083 on Euro USD. I hope that is clear. For AUD USD, I'm very, very sorry. I think I didn't give the coordinates of where I was expecting the sell from. 0.68503 and 0.68363. 0.68503 and 0.68363. That will be my supply zone for AUD USD. All right, so I hope that is clear for AUD USD and Euro USD. Basically, I have 3 more commodities I want us to look at before I call it a night, or we call it a night rather. So first off is GBP/NZD, and I think something similar to what we saw for GBP. Excuse me. Something similar to what we saw for GBP/JPY, what I'm seeing on GBP/NZD. All right, a simple retracement. All right, a sell, and then we should get to see the buy continuation. So you might be asking then, where exactly should we expect this sell to last to? Well, in an ideal environment, I think we should be expecting that low will be taken out. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, so this can work. This can work. Let's see if this somehow coincides with. I doubt if it will. Yeah, I doubt. I very much Okay, so I think let's just work with this. Excuse me. Let's just work with this. So price dropping into this region, and then we'll get to continue for our buy on GBPNZD. So basically, I'm watching out for a sell to buy scenario also on GBPNZD. My preferred buy region on this will be 2.11 point, or will be between 2.11296 and 2.11153. Again, 2.11296 and 2.11153. So I'd like to clear for GBPNZD. Let me see. I have AED and ZD, basically an AED card left for the night. So let's quickly look at those two. AD and ZD, let me see. Yeah, so AD and ZD, something similar. Again, I'm just watching out for this drop. I'll go up to the 4-hour time frame. Right, I'm just watching out for this drop to still continue. So for you, to just get in on this, if you get to see a proper entry for this sell, maybe if you get to see a break character, so any entry criteria that you have physically that you use personally, if you get a reason to enter for a sell on AD and ZD, at least on Monday, Tuesday, by all means, I think you can take it at least until you get to see price come into the zone. All right, so this demand is going to be between 1.09530 and 1.09373, 1.09530 and 1.09373 is demand zone for me to watch out for. All right, so that's what I'm watching out for on AD and ZD, a simple sell to buy off of that, right? And last but not least for tonight's session is Audcad. So something similar to what I said on, I can't even remember. I think it was AUD I said that on. Let me confirm. Yes, so something similar to what I just said on AUD USD. Again, we can see that price is somehow giving us that similitude of a drop-based drop, right, being formed. So this is what I'm going to do. I've actually seen something here, but let me confirm that from the line chart. Yes. Very good. So this is what I'm just going to watch out for, right? If at all we get to see a rejection, like for me now, so let me just give us coordinates before I even go on. 0.92067 and 0.91907. First POI 0.92067 and 0.91907. Second POI 0.91309 and 0.91046. 0.91309 and 0.91046. Now, these are just points of interest that I'm watching out for. Then again, I'm going to explain the entry criteria for you before taking any of these trades. Entry criteria for this initial one is going to be simple: lower time frame change of character. A simple lower time frame change of character. So once you confirm that there's been a change of character, you have seen even possibly a break of structure also on the lower time frame, maybe on the 5 minute or 15 minutes, that's showing that price has actually turned bullish, or at least locally bullish on the microstructure on the lower time frame. By all means, you can take up a trade after just getting up, your entry point, and they're just getting for a buy off of AED card, and that will only last as long as this zone holds. All right. So for me, if this zone doesn't hold, then this is what we should be expecting. All right, and then price comes here to give us that buy. Now, for me, this second scenario will be more idealistic, right? To be more idealistic, because that would mean that price has something to, take out, which is going to be this low. All right, what we know basically, one thing that's always going to be constant is that price is always going to be looking out for places to take out liquidity from, right? And this low currently showing us that there are actually orders, right, that were around there that push price towards the upside, and price could definitely want to come and sweep that low before dropping further into this region, and then maybe we'll get to continue, overall bullish off of AUD card. So what am I saying overall? Simple. Just watch out for either a lower time frame change of character and break of structure for this initial POI. Either that, or if you get to see that POI being broken, all right. So don't just drop into the trade because you have seen that price has gotten there. Watch out for entry criteria, right? So if we get to that point being broken, then I just watch out for a simple break and retest to get in on the sell, right? So as not to miss any trade or not to wait in vain. Right, if I get to get that break and retest, I'll enter for the sell. And then for me, once I get to that price comes into the second POI I marked out here, I'll just watch out for it. I'll just watch out again for those lower time frame confirmations, like I said earlier. I'll take up my buys. I hope that is clear. All right, so with these fears of mine, I hope I've convinced you and not confused you about possible trades that you might want to watch out for this coming week. Thank you very much for joining us for tonight's market session. I'm very sure that you have gained one or two. All right, please, we'll be uploading this on the YouTube channel, so please do feel free to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about this. All right, if you have any friends that maybe have trader friends that need, this type of services, all right, we do this, all right, every Sunday by 9 p.m. Just share the link to them and they can join in. All right, and I'm very sure I'm going to have a profitable week. This week is CPI week. I think that'll be on Thursday. So watch out. I'll be sending a link to the group so you can join in for the CPI trade. If you were not around for INFP trade, but please don't miss the CPI trade, right? All right, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful night's rest and God bless. Bye, guys.